Good day, people of YouTube. Welcome to my channel, and to the loyal 13 subscribers who stuck by my side for the 4 years that I haven't posted any content. Welcome back, fine people. I won't disappoint. As the title suggests, in today's video, I'll be telling you the story of my first visit to Canada, more specifically the city of Toronto in Ontario. So before I get into the video footage and the photos of me in Toronto, I think I just need to give a very brief background about why I took the trip, because it's very spur of the moment. So I live in Freeport, Grand Bahama in the Bahamas, which is one of the northernmost islands that was actually very heavily affected by Hurricane Dorian. And because the experience was so traumatic, my employers decided that all staff members should get a week compassionate leave. And as I just started my capacity as a senior house officer, I wasn't even eligible for any leave until January of next year. So I was very pleased when I found out that I would be getting a break, and I decided instantaneously that I needed to get out of the country. Not only was Hurricane Dorian traumatic, but the island in the aftermath of the hurricane, with no electricity, the water table being contaminated, everything was just extremely depressing. So even if I took a week off and stayed here, it just would have been blah. So my boyfriend and I decided that we'd leave the country just for that week. Now, deciding to come to Toronto was, again, not planned out, not on my bucket list. It was just, again, something spur of the moment. So when we decided that we were going to travel, we started to peruse the map of North America. At first, we thought Orlando, because Bahamians. But then I also started to look at Portland, Maine, because for some reason I got obsessed with trying oysters. That didn't last long. Then I considered going to Atlanta, Georgia, but I didn't feel like being in the South, and I also was having a little bit of acute stress disorder. I said I don't want to be anywhere that's even remotely coastal, and then a hurricane comes and blows me away. So we decided not to go to Atlanta. And one day my boyfriend was on his computer and he was like, "You want to go to Toronto?" And I was like, "Why not?" And so that was the first little seed into our plan to visit Toronto. A few reward points later, at Airbnb and our ETA, which is the electronic travel? It's the ETA. It's a Canadian visa that you apply for online. So if you're going to Canada to get your ETA online, it's $85. The Airbnb ticket, a few reward points, and ETA later, we were all ready for our trip to Canada. On the day of us traveling, it took us 3 flights and 12 hours to arrive in Toronto. First, we left Freeport, Grand Bahama, and went to Nassau, New Province, the capital of our country, where we used the international airport to go to Atlanta, Georgia. Still ended up in Atlanta. We had a 2-hour layover, and then we had about an hour, 50-minute, I think, flight to Canada. We landed at the Pearson International Airport, which is, I think, 25 minutes outside of the city of Toronto by train. So once we got there, we were so excited. It was already a whole half a day of traveling. We were very exhausted, but it was only about 8 p.m., so we still were excited. We took the Union Pearson Express into the city, and we ended up in Union Station. When we stepped out of Union Station, this was my actual first impression of the city, and my breath was taken away. It was about 8 p.m., so at that time, the city was lit up. You just see all of the skyscrapers and the city lights. It was very bustling. A lot of people were on the streets, and this was stark contrast from where I came from, where the electricity had just turned on. We're a flat country, so there aren't any tall buildings. I was just stunned. I felt like I was living on Sex in the City, and I just was ready to take the world. From Union Station, we took a short 5 to 10 minute cab drive to our Airbnb, and here I'll insert some amateur, quite tacky vlog footage of my Airbnb tour, and I want you to enjoy this in a very judgment-free manner. This is the apartment door, so I'm gonna put my back to the door. And when you first enter, there's a sitting area, as well as a desk to do work. It's a really small thing. Then you will come this way, and in this closet is the washer and dryer. This is the bathroom. It's really small. This whole unit is small, but it's cute. I'll show you. kitchen. Excuse me, darling. Let me see that. And this is another couch and living area. Couch, chair, cute. This is the bedroom. Feels bigger on camera than it is. That's it. This is, you don't have access to the balcony from the bedroom, but I'll show y'all the views from the balcony now. Give you a short turn. I don't want to make y'all dizzy. So the balcony entrance is here. Oh, I won't break that thing. How do I do this though, man? Oh, I see. Hopefully you can leave it there. This is the 40th floor, so I have to hold my phone tight. This is a beautiful view. This week, this is the skyscraper. They have a picture like that. I hope you enjoyed that. So once we got settled, we just went downstairs and walked just up the block and had dinner in a bar that was just down from our Airbnb. And we just had pizza, we had shots and cocktails. And then we went to bed, getting ready to start our adventure in Toronto. I had a few goals for when I came to the city. I wanted to visit the CN Tower and do the Edge Walk. I wanted to visit Niagara Falls, visit the Toronto Islands, walk through Koreatown and try black bean noodles with kimchi. And most of all, I wanted to buy a new camera so that I can restart my YouTube channel. And the camera that I set my eyes on was the Sony RX100 Mark VII. Nothing else would do for me. With these goals in mind, the first thing that we did on our very first day in the city was visit Best Buy to try and find my camera. However, the only model that they had was the Sony RX100 Mark VI. And like I said, nothing less than the Mark VII would do for me. On the brighter side, my boyfriend also wanted to get a VR headset, the Oculus Rift S, and Best Buy had that, and so the trip was in a complete waste. So while I was in my funk walking down the streets of Toronto, the most cute and random and coincidental thing ever happened. We actually ran into somebody that Dominic knows from childhood and college. This person used to be his gym buddy in college, and they hadn't seen each other in years and years, but we randomly ran into each other on the streets of Toronto. Apparently he's now living and working in Toronto, which Dominic had known, but he just hadn't thought of it when we decided to come to the city, or the fact that we were in the city, he hadn't thought to try to contact this person. He just didn't think of it. But it was also funny that his friend's birthday was the following day. He's having a party that night, and he invited us to that party. And so just like that, we had plans for our first night in Toronto. After shopping around the Eaton Center, I fulfilled another one of my goals that I didn't mention to you earlier, which was to have a seafood boil once I was in the city, because at home nobody does a seafood boil right. And so we visited the Captain's Boil, where we had a very large seafood feast. And I apologize that I don't have any photo or video footage because everything was inside my gut before my camera could be taken out. But after we had that big lunch, we just decided to walk through the city just so that we can be like real city livers. We wanted to get that real authentic feel. And we walked 4 miles to our Airbnb that day, and that was actually the last time we ever walked while in Toronto. Here you can enjoy some brief footage of us walking home. Right when the light was at the end of the tunnel, I decided to take my phone out and record a bit of footage. like I said, that night we went to the birthday party, which was a very good experience. It was strange and pleasant being out of the country and going to a house party, because honestly I can't remember the last time I've been to a house party outside of college. Like, is that something that adults do? Because we should do it. It was fun. But I met a lot of new people. Everybody was so nice. Everybody was so outgoing. We literally partied until 2 a.m. and our bodies hated us for it the next day. But that's life. The next day, when we were tired, it was about midday because we couldn't get out of bed early enough. We decided that the best hangover food would be some dumplings. I watched too many videos about foods that I should try in Toronto, and I did not try nearly enough of those foods while I was in the city. That is my one regret. But I had seen a video about this little dumpling spot in Chinatown called Juicy Dumplings, and it was also on the Uber Eats app. So I decided, let's try some dumplings. So we tried soup dumplings, pan-fried dumplings, green onion pancakes, some wet shrimp thing that was really delicious, and it was so good. It was featured on a Cheap Eats YouTube video when I was researching foods to eat in Toronto, and I 100% support their message. Juicy Dumplings is very delicious. I mean, I don't know what authentic dumplings taste like. I'll be quite honest, that was my first time having dumplings, but I feel like I have a very, very mature palate, and I know what tastes good and what tastes bad. So I would 100%, if you're looking for cheap eats in Toronto and you like Asian cuisine, try Juicy Dumplings, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. From my experience of depression the day before, when Best Buy told me that nobody had the camera, Dominic instantly became obsessed with getting me my Sony RX100 while we were in the city. So the first thing that we did the next day was find a way to sign me up for a postal address so that I can order the camera on Amazon.com and have it delivered to the post office before we left the city. The downside to our Airbnb was that we weren't allowed to take any orders because the concierge wouldn't pick up the orders for us. And so we had to try to set up an account with Canada Postal. At the end of the day, it didn't work out because I wasn't a Canadian citizen. I didn't know they needed to verify my identification. It didn't work. So that was a dud. However, the one good thing was that the postal office that we visited was very close to Graffiti Alley, and so once we left the postal office, we were able to walk straight to Graffiti Alley, where we got really nice photos, and I'll just share that with you now, as well as the video footage of us first entering Graffiti Alley.
They're in Graffiti Alley. So we just got a photo there. I can just walk out before I take my photo. It looks a little sketchy, not gonna lie. I like that.
After leaving Graffiti Alley, we walked just a little bit to Chinatown. So I lied, after that 4-mile walk, we didn't learn our lessons. We walked through Chinatown, we stopped at a sushi restaurant, and we enjoyed some delicious sushi, and then we got a Uber home. The rest of that afternoon was a blur. I don't have any photos, no videos, no memories of what we did. And so I guess we'll never know what we did that afternoon in Toronto. Fast forward to the next day, which was Sunday. We woke up and we were excited because we had a plan. this was the day that we were to visit the Toronto Islands. I also watched a few videos. I watched I think I literally watched every single video on YouTube that talks about visiting Toronto from the locals' perspective, from a tourist perspective, the ones in 420p, is that a thing? I watched every video on visiting Toronto. So quite a few videos said that once in Toronto, if you can, you should visit the Toronto Islands. And that's what I did. Dominic randomly decided to call this camera store called Henry's just to see if they'd be open on a Sunday and if they carried the camera that I wanted. And lo and behold, they carried the camera, but the branch that was near to us didn't have any in stock. However, a branch that was a bit further away from us did have the camera, so we decided to make a quick detour in our plan and pay a $40 Uber to go to that Henry's, and I was able to get my camera. I was very, very excited. Excitement cannot describe what I felt, but I was extremely happy, and we went there right away, got the camera. I dropped that money and I have no regrets. Still have no regrets. The person who sold me the camera, he was so nice. He was a film studies student, and he was asking me questions like, what am I getting the camera for? And strangely, I felt really shy, if you can relate to that. Like, I was a bit embarrassed to tell him that I was using it for vlogging for a YouTube channel, but he was really prying, and I felt like I was being silly about it, and he didn't seem judgmental. But do you have that? Like, if anybody else out there makes videos on YouTube and a stranger asked you innocently, what are you doing? Do you get that like feeling of embarrassment? I just want to know where that stems from. But after we left Henry's, we went to Tim Hortons, got some food, drink, really, really delicious Timbits. Another thing I had to do because of Canada. I think their original flavor is pumpkin spice, because I kept asking for pumpkin spice and original, but they all tasted the same, and I tried it again at another location asking for original. Again, it tastes like pumpkin spice, so I don't know if original Timbits are pumpkin spice. Can somebody help me in the comments? But they were pretty good. I prefer them cold, so if you find that you don't like Timbits, leave them to sit on the counter for 2 days and then try them again. Tell me what you think. So we left Tim Hortons and headed straight for the Toronto Islands, and I filmed my first RX 100 footage, which is a little b-roll of the car drive to the docks, and here you are. And here's just a little bit more of b-roll of us leaving the docks and going over to the Toronto Islands, again on my RX 100. After getting all of that footage, I was very excited and very ready to vlog my way through the Toronto Islands. However, as soon as I stepped off the ferry and took 10 steps, my camera died. And so all of the footage from the Toronto Islands were filmed on my iPhone 8 Plus. Still decent footage, but not my Sony RX 100.
view. It's like a really, really large park or some little one. It's like a huge island. It's just so much nature. It's just so nice. So nice. Dominic and I doing our darndest to move this. What is it called? A two-seater quadricycle?
Yeah, two-seater quadricycle.
Yeah.
Two-seater quadricycle.
Two-seater quadricycle. We're on Center Island. In Toronto Island. Center Island.
Center City.
It's not Center City, it's Center Island.
We've done a good job.
Let's see if anybody we leave anybody not dust. No. We found a maze. Sorry.
Let's go down
Let's
there.
go this way, yeah. I was on this E right there.
Oh.
I think this is dead end.
You'll see.
No.
Should we go this way or this way?
This way? No, this way.
Well, when you get dead in the last time, they just as deep up here and so randomly. Really?
This way.
How you know?
I can feel it.
Okay.
I think I also have a propensity for taking left. That's a dead end, so take this way.
Somebody cheated? They need to fix that, man. I guess somebody cheated again. This is really entered.
Okay.
It's feeling like almost like a dead end, and I am
Oh,
right.
wow.
So maybe we should go this way. That's the dead end, is it?
Yeah.
I thought we just came this way.
Yeah, I think this a circle that was going and we just went around.
So you obviously made we going back to the I think that I was designing up. I'm going to get mazes. This is not like that. I mean, I think it's Hogwarts.
Yeah. Oh, you mean on the Harry Potter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good I like that movie. Anyways, I think we're gonna end up at the
Beginning.
entrance.
We're going the wrong way there.
Yeah. And it's also freaking me out a little bit.
We're going again?
You know?
We spent a few hours on Center Island, and I will recommend to anybody, if you're visiting Toronto for like 4 days or more, that you should try and visit the Toronto Islands. It's extremely beautiful. It's very quaint. You can bike the entire length of the island. And if you're into something more exciting, they also have a nudist beach on the island. At the time of our visit, my body wasn't quite ready for the nudist beach, but next time we visit, who knows? So once we left the Toronto Islands, I was very eager to get back to our Airbnb so that I can try out my RX 100, and that's what I did. So here I'll insert some of my test vlog footage, and you and I can cringingly watch this together, and this is going to now be the bottom where I start from. Enjoy. This is a test vlog. His harsh light didn't help much. I feel like I'm supposed to look at the camera already making that mistake, that noob mistake.
What, to look at the camera?
I always like looking at the viewfinder instead of looking at the camera.
Are you looking at the camera now?
Yeah, looking at the camera now. So this is just a test vlog on the Sony RX100 to see what it feels like. It's a bit heavy, heavier than I expected, but it feels, I like it. It has a good feel. I just want to see how far my hand has to stretch in order to keep us in frame. That's not too bad. Bit painful. I want to do this. We'll count as practice vlog number 3.
Hi guys.
Right now we're gonna pick up Uber Eats, and I think that's relatively fascinating. You'll be taking along.
And what are we eating?
Denny's.
Slow response time, but correct answer.
I keep looking at the viewfinder because I'm a narcissist.
Have it.
Since I'm not ready for public vlogging as yet, I just hope nobody's in the elevator and nobody's outside the door. Since we came here, nobody has ever been on our floor when we're catching the elevator, but just because I'm like slightly uncomfortable, I'm pretty sure somebody will be outside. But for now, I'll put the viewfinder down so I could go incognito mode. Let's go.
I know, because just because we go on there and we go ahead of time, yeah, they're gonna be super quick. But hi guys, didn't expect this. I'm part of the vlog, I guess.
You know you're just gonna be a part. We discussed this.
We did. So it's gonna be probably super quick, and we can have like so much time now. Be back.
Too You look oily. Looking at the viewfinder again. Set it into the camera. Okay. I hear footsteps. I have to turn it off because I feel shy.
Okay.
I'm feeling shy. Christyn signing out.
You can't record the randoms.
The next day, I woke up early, put on a full face of makeup, and tried actual vlogging for the first time. A very pleasant good morning from the city of Toronto. I'm here with Dominic, not looking at the camera again. And today's the 4th day that we've been in the city. I just got my camera yesterday, so I decided to take it out and try using it. I'll just show you the view from our Airbnb. We're in the fashion district, so it's pretty busy. And we're just above, I think that's the TTC. And you can see the lake over there. We're on the 40th floor, so we have a good view of everything going on. And this is amazing natural light, though it's pretty gloomy out. So our plan today is to go to the Eaton shopping center and just get breakfast there, buy a few things, and then we'll go to Koreatown. For lunch, I'd like to have some black bean noodles. I've never tried black bean noodles before. And Dominic wants to try ramen because he's never had like actual authentic ramen before. So we're gonna go to Koreatown to find something to eat at lunch, and then maybe if there's anything cool or interesting to do there, we'll stay and walk around Koreatown for a bit and then come back to the Airbnb where we will do Netflix and chill, and tomorrow we'll do Niagara Falls. So I'll just do a quick OOTD. I'm wearing this dress that I don't know where I got it from. A Steve Madden belt, my tights, and this leather jacket that's like burgundy that I got from Winners. I just put a little braid in the front of my hair. And I'll be wearing some leopard print tennis shoes, and that will be it. Since I'm just starting to try out the vlogging thing, I don't know how confident I'll be doing vlogs in public, especially in the Eaton shopping center, since I've seen too many times where people have gone into stores and been like, oh, you can't film in here, and I would take that personally and be quite sad if anybody had to tell me that. So for now, I'll do what I can. I'll do my best, but we'll see how it goes, and I'll see you once we start our day. We just got back from out, and there are many change of plans. So what did I say we were gonna do? Go to the mall, I think. So we did go to the mall. I did get some shopping done, but we were supposed to go to Koreatown after that, but we got tired and instead went to Jack Aston's for lunch. And then we decided to come home. I think it's about 1 p.m. now. It was 2:21 p.m. So we decided to come home, take a break, maybe just stay in tonight because we're going to the falls tomorrow. That'll be from 7:30 a.m. to like 4:30 p.m. So just want to rest this evening. But I'll show you what I got when I went to the mall. If you accidentally see any mess in my background at any point, just ignore it, because this is a very small Airbnb and we just have our stuff all over the place, right? So from Forever 21, I got, actually I could just distribute down on the table. This way I can do this. 1 second. Does that work? Works. Yes. So from Forever 21, I got this t-shirt with the box neck, which is quite cute. I also got a t-shirt dress that's just above knee length in a forest green color. You know, it's fall right now, so it'll be difficult to find any bright colors. When I go home, everybody's gonna think I'm dressed for winter. But it's just no summer clothes in Toronto. I also went to American Eagle and I got this sweater, and I actually got this to wear to the falls tomorrow. I'll wear my black leather jacket on top of it, but I just really like this color on my complexion. It looked really nice in the dressing room. And I also got a pair of black jeans because I don't own black jeans, and I just needed something as my staple. So these are very stretchy. They're high-waisted, super high rise. It's really stretchy. So those are the 4 items I got. When we first went out, we also stopped at Best Buy and I got a case for my camera, which is this one. Originally I wanted a case that was small enough to fit in purses, but I was encouraged to get something that could fit extra batteries and my SD cards, so I ended up getting this. I wasn't too happy about it, but I think it'll grow on me. So it's just this, and I also bought a 128 gigabyte SD card. Yesterday when I bought my camera from Henry's, I got the 64 gigabyte SD card. So I just got this, since when you record video, you need a lot of space. So since I came to the city, I actually bought 3 pairs of shoes. Today I bought a pair of black boots, and I just switched out my cheetah print tennis for those because they were just too cute with my outfit. And I got 2 pairs of heels, and I'll show them to you right now. So I have all of the heels, all of the shoes I got here. So these ones are some hot pink heels that I got. Very beautiful. These ones are cotton candy heels. So you have the pink to blue switch. And like I said, I bought a pair of boots today. And that would be these black boots that I love a little bit too much. So, yes. I bought those since coming to the city. Tonight I doubt we'll be doing anything because Dominic is tired. So I'll likely just be staying at home. There's a movie, a psychological thriller that he said he'd like to watch, so possibly we'll do that. Otherwise, I don't know. We already went out to lunch, so I doubt we'll go out for dinner as well. But we'll see how it plays out.
Recording?
Yeah, I didn't want wedges though. I wanted like flats.
I wonder if they can hear us. I
don't know.
I'll just speak for them to hear us.
Yeah, because I don't want to shout because I'll be dead shame.
Yeah, because then like Donovan, like you would never hear Donovan.
Yeah, because he always whispers.
I don't know if he's whispering, you know.
It's so nice to be able to take like a short walk to a restaurant though, and to just be right at your place.
Yeah.
So we stay in this tall building. Huh?
Right. So you only get funny how much you paid for the other card, like $40.
I just think that's so annoying. Like so sad. I wasn't able to do an OOTD earlier because Dominic was rushing me, but I have on the new black jeans that I got from, what was this, Urban Outfitters?
American Eagle.
American Eagle. And these new boots that I got that I love. And just a t-shirt and my leather jacket. And Dominic actually got me to go out looking like this. Like the last dead raccoon. And he looks like that.
That's my normal guys. That's
No.
my normal.
That's that light skin privilege. Y'all could just go out and look good. Yes, that's me, that's me, that's me. What are we gonna do now? You wanna watch a movie now? Who are you messaging? What?
My cousin
Oh. Why are you smiling? Okay. We gonna watch that movie you want to watch? I wanna use that TV too, but if you don't know how to use it, then you can't use it. I'm so full, oh my god. Oh, I had to unzip my pants. Oh lord, my belly big, I shame.
Who's Ninja? I know which one to use. Who is using your profile?
I don't know, you could use today. We have a smart TV, but we don't know how to work it. So it hasn't had any utility. Just use anyone, because they shouldn't have left it logged in. Yeah.
We can use it.
Okay. If you leave your Netflix on, we're gonna use it. Whew, I'm too full. So I don't really know how well I did, but hopefully it was good enough for me to not have to intervene in between. But now I'm here to introduce you to the following day, which was my last day in Toronto, as well as my visit to the Niagara Falls. Enjoy. Good morning. Dominic and I just arrived at Niagara Falls. The temperature is much warmer than all of the other days that we've been here, so I brought this leather jacket and now I'm not using it. But we're going to give you a nice little tour of what we see when we're here. Dominic and I are trying to take photos in this amazing lighting with the sun right above us, but my eyeballs just won't allow it. I cannot do this. But look at my highlight, like come on.
You know what's kind of
Come through. Oh, sorry. And look at the beautiful fall. So cute. Okay, so I'll follow Dominic because I'm being left. I'm being left. On our journey here, we were told like about 12 stories about people who attempted going down the falls. in barrels to see if they could weather it, and most of them died. I think 8 people survived, but many of them perished. One had his family find his mangled body at the foot of the falls. The other was trapped in a whirlpool for about 4 days before they were able to retrieve his body, his corpse. But yeah, that's scary. Here's the beautiful mist. We from the Bahamas. This heat is like nothing. Right? Those boats doing the tour of the falls with all the mist catching us right now. Just a little bit of the mist is going on my lens, but not a lot of it, because our tour guide told us that the water, basically the mist, flows from the Canadian side of the falls over to the American side of the falls, so they're the ones who really catch the mist. But when we do the boat tour, as you can see, they're at the American side, over there. And so we'll be going over to that side. So they provide you raincoats or ponchos, actually, so that you don't get too much of too wet, but your face will get wet, which I'm a bit afraid of, because I thought it was fine because it would just be fresh water on my face. But then the bus driver told us that, or the tour guide, I should say, told us that the water is heavily polluted with chemicals. So, I don't know, but we'll be doing that later. My camera to get wet. We're getting our ponchos. Thank you. So excited. It's the red ponchos that they give you when you go, so that you don't get wet from the mist. So I'm gonna get ready now.
Did not expect this at all. Dominic and I just finished the mist at Niagara Falls. Is when you take the boat ride and they take you through the American side of the falls, as well as the Canadian side of the falls. And it was much different from what I expected. They said that we'd be in the mist, but it's more as though we were in almost torrential downpour. I did not wear any waterproof mascara, and as a result, I looked like a bandit by the end. But Dominic enjoyed himself immensely. It wasn't horrible, but
It was a great experience.
I didn't expect to be like almost drowning. I expected to be semi-cute for the experience, but it didn't work out like that. But I still enjoyed it. My face just feels weird now after the water soaked it and dried. Your face feels a bit dry?
It feels great.
Yeah, so now we're just waiting for the tour guide to pick us up. We're going to a little village. I think it's called Niagara Village. And we're gonna have lunch there and do wine tasting, and I think we're gonna taste gelato, and we're also gonna take a 1-hour drive along the lake, the Niagara Lake, and that might be the end of the tour. But it was good. I won't lie, it was good. It felt good, but I did not expect to look like a drowned rat at the end. We're in Niagara town. Come over.
I gotta go. That's good. You're gonna go camera woman.
I live in my best raccoon life right now.
Does it feel in your eye?
Yeah. I didn't make any videos coming here because I was hungry and angry.
You hear chuckle.
It's a good thing though because I look horrible.
But if it's so you hear them chuckle. Harder than it looks, eh? Harder than it looks, eh?
I just want to say now that we're in Niagara town. We just had lunch. We were supposed to walk down to the river, but I'm really sleepy, really tired, and ready to go. So we just got lunch, and now we're sitting in the park waiting for time to go by. What are we doing? Wine tasting?
Yeah.
We might do wine tasting, or we might just leave. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but it's been a really good day. It's just that by now I would have had my midday nap, and I haven't had it as yet. But lunch was good. You enjoyed your food?
It was pretty decent. I had a hot dog, some fries.
I had a Greek panini with onion rings, so that was good. But I'll just give some footage of Niagara town. It's really clean, cute. You have squirrels scurrying in the trees. It's really nice.
Most of the park and the town, I guess.
Yeah, this is the park. What?
I think the footage. Is it a
Well, that's basically it. I really look horrible. Like, really, really, really horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk later.
The experience going into the mist is something that I can never forget. I did not get to explain this in the vlog footage because I was having torrential downpour hit my face. I was trying not to drop my phone into the Niagara, so a lot was going on. As I said, it was a very enjoyable experience. The falls from below, the cameras don't do it justice. The sound of it, the feel of the mist, seeing the rainbows because of all of the water particles in the air, it's just breathtakingly beautiful. So even though my mascara was completely removed from my face and the tails of my eyebrows were gone and I had to be like a raccoon for the rest of the day, we'll do it again. We'll do it with waterproof mascara, but we'll do it again. So tips for visiting Niagara Falls. Luckily, it was a warm day when we went, so I can't give any tips on the weather. But if you can, don't wear a full face of makeup. Wear a waterproof mascara. Protect your eyebrows. I don't even know how does one protect eyebrows? Wear tennis when you go to Niagara. And if you can, wear comfortable pants. Yes, be comfortable when you visit Niagara. Also, I noticed that I've seen other vlog footage of people visiting Niagara and they would just go and see like the Canadian side, the American side, and be like, oh, now what's there left to do? I think that when you visit Niagara Falls, you definitely should do an attraction like I did the Into the Mist, sorry. But they also have zip lining. My camera went and died on me. Actually, no, it overheated. I was prepared, my battery was charged. If you're visiting Toronto and decide to go to the Niagara Falls, like I said, I'd recommend that instead of you just going there and seeing the Canadian side and the American side, you do a tour, do the Into the Mist, do the zip lining, something, because it'll make the experience better. The tour that I went on, as you saw in the vlog footage, as we took the about 2-hour drive down to the falls, we watched videos that told us the history of the falls, how they came to be, how people used to try to go down the falls in barrels, the people who died, the people who were successful. So it was quite interesting. Then we went to the portion of the falls that you'll usually see in photos and videos. Then we went into the mist. After we had that experience, as you saw, we went to Niagara Town, and along the way we saw the hydropower towers. I know I'm not saying the right thing. Like how you have solar power, the equivalent for water creating power. After we visited Niagara Town, we also went wine tasting, and the vineyard that we visited is responsible for producing 95% of the world's ice wine. And like I said, we tried 2 different types of ice wine, which was a really good experience, and at the same time it was relevant. So doing the tour made Niagara not boring, although I was almost like asleep in a coma dead by the end of the day, because it went from about 7:30 in the morning straight down to like 5 in the evening. It was too much. It was like a job, but it was good, and in retrospect I'm happy I did it. So that was our last day in Toronto. That night we had a bit of excitement because the fire alarm went off in our building. We were on the 40th floor, like I told you, and of course the elevators, we can't use that in case of a fire because we might get stuck and plummet to our deaths. So Dominic and I literally walked down 40 flights of stairs. I think it was about 400 stairs, and that was the most physical activity I've done in quite a long time. And so for the about 4 days following that, when I came home, my calves were hard as rock. I could barely move. My thighs were so painful. I was in excruciating pain. But there was like a fire in the parking lot, the sub parking lot. We had to wait around for that to get fixed, but otherwise the trip went by uneventfully, and we made it home safely after 7 hours. So going over it was 12 hours. Coming home, it only took us 7 hours because the layovers weren't as long. All in all, I really enjoyed my trip to Toronto. I definitely would visit again, and I 100% recommend it if you're considering visiting a city that you go ahead and do so. You'd never have a bored moment. There's always something to do, and there are so many different foods to try. Even though I wasn't able to check off all of the goals on my to-do list, I still was able to complete quite a bit, and I'm quite satisfied with all the things that I got to do in the 5 days that I was there. So I hope you enjoyed viewing this video as much as I enjoyed making it for your viewing pleasure. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I had to come back for just a quick second to apologize for this apparent oily sheen that's been on my face for the entire video. I'm trying a new foundation, the Fenty Moisturizing, and it's not agreeing with me. That's it. I'll go back to matte. Bye.
I heard they put you on the stage, say you A1. Contraceptives on this liquor, that's safe fun. To go home with my silhouette is by it all. Use a lunge nose, the way you ball.